In this video, I'm going to be running through what I do with my own money every single month when it comes to investing and saving.
Hello, I like money.
I'm going to be running through all the different types of accounts, the platforms that I use, as well as the different things that I invest into on each platform and through each a different account that I have. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see essentially my personal finance blueprint as to where all my money goes every single month when it comes to investing and saving.
Relax and take notes.
I've made a separate video on how I budget, but I use a zero-based budget, and that essentially allows me to allocate money to investing and saving first, thereby paying myself first before I then use my rest of my money for my expenses and for fun stuff. Welcome back to another video, weekly videos here on investing and personal finance, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss one. This one in particular, we're going to be looking at the process that I do every single month in terms of where I put my money into investments and how and where I save my money. I use a range of different accounts, including a workplace pension, a stocks and shares ISA, stocks and shares LISA, some general investments accounts. I've also got a regular saver. So there's a lot going on, but I'm going to map it all out in this video. And I should plug here where I track all of my investments is inside the Making Money Simple spreadsheet. A great place to track all your investments, particularly if you're like me and you've got a lot of different accounts. So the link will be in the description. Check that out if you're interested. But first, let's get on to number one, my workplace pension. So I work, unfortunately, I have to work a 9 to 5 at the moment. The side hustle is yet to become the main hustle, but I work and have a workplace pension and my employer matches 6%. So if I contribute 6%, they also contribute 6%, and that's essentially 100% free money from my employer. So it's a risk-free 100% return straight away from my employer. Not only that, but you get salary sacrifice. So I avoid income tax, national insurance and student loan. So free money from my employer and avoiding tax, not a bad setup at all.
Best thing since sliced bread.
And that really is the power of a workplace pension and an employer match. By law, your employer has to match 3%, but I would just say whatever your employer contributes, 3, 5, 7, 10%, just match up to that because it's 100% free money. Of course, then the downside of a pension is your money's locked away, but we'll save that for another video. And inside of my workplace pension, I invest into a global index fund. I essentially chose the best and cheapest one I could find. So every single month, my contribution and my employer's contribution go straight into that global index fund, and that'll be locked up. The second type of account that I use is a stocks and shares LISA, but as of a month ago, I've stopped using it. But let me tell you what I was doing originally. So originally, I was putting £100 a month into a stocks and shares lifetime ISA through Hargreaves Lansdown in the FTSE Global All Cap. The FTSE Global All Cap is a globally diversified index fund. I talk about it a lot on YouTube and on Instagram. I've got a whole video on it, on why I use global index funds. But I was contributing £100 per month into my stocks and shares lifetime ISA, but I realised that wasn't optimal. I had been putting £100 a month into my stocks and shares lifetime ISA for about a year just to get 25% free from the government, and then I essentially viewed it as free money. But what I've realised was, even personal finance YouTubers can still make mistakes, that my pension actually worked out more optimal than my stocks and shares LISA. With the stocks and shares LISA, you get 25% bonus. But with my pension, I get a 20% income tax relief. So because the bonus is in your net pay and the income tax relief is gross pay, they are essentially equal. But with my workplace pension, because it's salary sacrifice, I also avoid, as I mentioned, national insurance and student loan. So it works out better to actually put that extra sort of money, that £100 a month I was putting into my stocks and shares LISA, into my workplace pension. So I upped my contribution in my workplace pension to 10%, which essentially sort of takes account of that extra £100 that I was putting into my stocks and shares lifetime ISA.
Quick maths.
Another thing about a lifetime ISA, you can't access it till you're 60, so it's a few more years after the pension. So for pretty much the last year, I'd been going 6% pension, £100 stocks and shares LISA. Now I'm going 10% pension, £0 stocks and shares lifetime ISA. So even though I don't use a stocks and shares lifetime ISA anymore, I've still got that amount sitting there from the last year, which I'll obviously be buying and holding till I retire and access it when I'm 60. But I tweeted about this and it got a lot of interest and people wanted to understand why I sort of made that switch. Hopefully that explains it a bit better. The third account I use, Vanguard, of course, for my stocks and shares ISA, Different to a stocks and shares LISA, this is a stocks and shares ISA with Vanguard. All my money is in the FTSE Global All Cap. You know the drill. I've been investing into that monthly for nearly 3 years now, always in the FTSE Global All Cap. 100% of my money is in the FTSE Global All Cap, and that is a stocks and shares ISA. So the benefit of that is it's more flexible. So if I wanted to withdraw, I can without any penalties. I also have plans to hopefully be financially free way before retirement age. And because inside of a stocks and shares ISA, capital gains and dividends are tax-free, hopefully in say 10 years, 20 years time, way before retirement age, I can actually live off of that money in that stocks and shares ISA, and that gives that flexibility. So even though I'm not getting free money, like my workplace pension from my employer contribution, and I'm not getting free money from the government inside of a stocks and shares lifetime ISA, the stocks and shares ISA gives you flexibility if you have plans, if you're younger and you have plans to retire before retirement age, because we can access that money at any time. The fourth thing I do with my money, crypto, baby.
To the moon.
Of course, we're investing every single week into crypto. That is the approach that I take with crypto because it's very volatile. I've been investing every single week or bi-weekly for nearly a year now. So I got in luckily at quite a good time, but I did some reading at the start of 2020, believed in it, started investing every single week, and the rest is history. But when it comes to crypto, I invest weekly using Coinbase Pro. I've got a whole video as well on how to buy Bitcoin using Coinbase Pro. I invest into Bitcoin and Ethereum every single week or bi-weekly, as I mentioned, and that's through a general investment account. Unfortunately, you cannot hold crypto yet inside of an ISA or a pension, but hopefully that will change one day. So that is everything that I do with my money when it comes to investing. We got the workplace pension, we had the stocks and shares lifetime ISA, which is now in the pension. We got the stocks and shares ISA, and we got crypto through Coinbase Pro. Of course, the pension, stocks and shares LISA, and stocks and shares ISA are all in global index funds. I preach that a lot, both here and on my Instagram, particularly my stocks and shares LISA and my stocks and shares ISA. 100% of all of that money between Hargreaves Lansdown and Vanguard is in the FTSE Global All Cap. So they are the four things that I do with investing. Now, when it comes to saving, I do one thing, and that is use a HSBC regular saver. I opened this up, I think it was in the summer of 2020, and at the time they had a good rate of 2.75%. Unfortunately, it's now dropped to 1%, like all banks, slashing their rates across the board, which is why you need to invest. But I essentially put the maximum, how it works is you can put £250 in per month, that's the maximum, and then across the year you essentially earn 2.75%. So it doesn't amount to a huge amount of actual interest or money, but I'm essentially using this as a sinking fund for a future traveling trip. So I'm putting away £250 a month, earning at the time 2.75% regular saver was the best that I could get. So at the time I opened that one, I've been putting £250 a month in there, and then yeah, one day that's going to go towards a traveling trip when we can travel again. Now, of course, you're probably thinking this is going to expire. My 2.75% rate will be up in a few months. So from that point onwards, I'll just once again probably just look on Money Saving Expert and try and find the best rate at the time. But I'm not going to be investing or spending this money. This is purely just sitting there on the side, and one day it will be used to go traveling with. And that is it. That wraps up everything that I do with my money every single month when it comes to investing and saving. The great thing is, other than the crypto investments, which I have to do manually through Coinbase Pro, the rest of it is completely automated, and I don't have to do everything each month. It just is done automatically for me because I've set it up that way. As I mentioned, I've got a zero-based budget, which essentially allows me to allocate my money to investing and saving before I pay for any expenses and before I use my money for everything fun. And as I mentioned, the great thing is it's automated, so it's completely hands-off, and that's the way that I like it. Because I've got a lot of different investment accounts, I'll plug it here again, I do use my MMS investment tracking spreadsheet. Essentially, you can input all of your different accounts, your pensions, your ISAs, your general investment account, your crypto, and then what it will do is generate beautiful graphs on the dashboard where you can just get a nice little snapshot of where all of your money is. What you can see on the screen now is some sort of like sample version that I made. But yeah, that wraps up this video. I'd be very interested to hear how you allocate your money each month. Pension, ISAs, crypto, let me know in the comments. And thank you very much for watching this video.